The problem, of course, is that it is incredibly difficult to organize, especially when there is a lot of effort to divide the working class along numerous boundaries. The easiest ones, of course, are to instill panic amongst the white working class and black working class, instill panic amongst immigrant laborers versus domestic labor. You know, I don't know why there's a constant network error happening. I can't look into it, chatter. I don't know why. Yeah, here, this is my, girls love dictator HasanAbi. Okay, I'm gonna be this is oh, I reposted this already. Okay, authoritarian right now. Let me tell you something. I am going to in an authoritarian manner. I'm gonna force free healthcare on you. I'm gonna force free healthcare. That's sweet free healthcare on you. It doesn't matter if you don't like it. You're gonna be like, no, I want to die to curable, treatable diseases. I want to die. I'm like, no, you're not. You're not gonna have medical bankruptcy. I don't give a fuck if you like it or not. Okay. You get to have no say in this process. I'm the dictator. And you know what I'm dictating? Free fucking healthcare for you, bitch. Don't give a fuck. You can complain about it all day, every day, but you're going to get it. And you're going to get a free college education as well. And an opportunity for a jobs program, okay? A federal jobs program where you can have great benefits on top of that. You can fucking say, I don't want it. No, I hate those things. I don't care. Yes, that's going to happen regardless. And you know what else I'm going to do? I'm going to punish the fucking wealthy. I'm going to punish the super wealthy, corrupt capitalists, okay? I'm going to punish them. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you sell spoiled baby formula knowing full well that it was spoiled? Guess what? You're going to jail. Oh, I'm sorry, Sackler family. Did you actually fucking create a massive opiates crisis? Well, guess what? We're not giving you a slap on the wrist, okay? You're going to prison. That is my dream, okay? Whether you like it or not, you're getting these things. You're getting these fucking benefits. You obviously haven't lived in a society with universal healthcare. I have. It sucks. I grew up in Turkey, a much poorer country than the United States of America. And let me tell you, okay, public health existing, like a national healthcare structure existing, even though there is also still private insurance in Turkey, is still wonderful. Were you an adult in Turkey who had to pay taxes and you're rich and your family is rich, so don't pretend you understand the impact of those taxes? Yeah, rich people famously love paying taxes. Yeah, it's actually a very common advocacy from rich people to advocate for higher taxes so you can pay for fucking social safety nets for the poor. Famously, that's what rich people always advocate for. I can't comprehend how you can ever say universal healthcare sucks. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Anyway, let's continue with this, but after that, we're gonna talk about potentially the Wartime Immigrant Act.
Benefit themselves.
Might
applies to even what I advocate for, the system of social democracy. Even if you achieve it, it will eventually become undone. I think you even see this starting to happen in some of the Scandinavian countries. Yeah, there's more privatization happening and stripping back of their welfare state. I just think you have to build a state that protects us from that as much as is possible.
There is no destination called justice or democracy, and if you catch a train driven by every generation has defied.
All of that understanding brings us to now, 2025, where we're in like this very weird time politically. So whilst wages have stagnated for the last 15 years, houses now cost 10 times the average annual salary, all the while corporations are making record profits, whilst people can't afford heating, the middle class is shrinking, the poor are getting poorer. Despite all this, society seems to consider the most important problem of our time is which bathroom does a trans person take a shit in?
You don't agree? No. Gender neutral loos? No, not at all. I think they're extremely dangerous.
And bro, I'm not judging. I was one of these culture warriors. I was deep in all this stuff. I was one of them. But how did that happen? Well, this is where things get a little bit interesting. And it all started in 2008.
We're underway, and I do mean underway.
We're essentially down by 4 or 5%.
Down over 16%, 18%.
We're 33%.
Traders here working from home say a lot of their customers are freaked out, waiting to see how low the Dow will go. Focused on the
After the financial crash, where big banks committed financial terrorism, gambling on people's homes and crashing the economy, this resulted in mass unemployment, rising inequality, and the destruction of working class people's savings. When I was growing up, they referred to this as the credit crunch. The biggest financial crash that's happened since the Great Depression, they had branded it like it was a breakfast bar. This crash led to the taxpayer bailing out the banks. In America, it was up to $700 billion. In the UK, it was £137 billion, with a £1 trillion safety net to protect the banks from collapsing. And so, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Lehman Brothers, the banks who tanked the global economy were saved by taxpayer money, whilst the working class saw the greatest cuts they'd seen in generations via austerity. And people noticed this pretty quickly. People were starting to wake up to the fact that unregulated capitalism as it currently existed is fucked. Public rage was brewing, and the ruling class was starting to get scared that real change might occur that would upset the current order in which they benefited from. And so in 2011, we start to see the people organizing, and we see Occupy Wall Street. Suddenly, people aren't just pissed off and protesting, they're now naming names. The 1% becomes a mainstream concept.
1 in 7 children in the United States suffer from hunger. At the same time, we're giving billions and almost $1 trillion to Wall Street just for bailouts. We need an economy for the people and by the people, not by the rich and for the rich.
People were noticing that the politicians that they had to choose between were being funded by the same banks that just broke the economy. All the while, this left-wing populist movement was starting to grow, and they were demanding things like higher taxes, stronger labor rights, and universal healthcare. And so the ruling class realized that they needed a distraction.
Welcome to the Glenn Beck program. Tonight, the truth about social justice and distorting its meaning. No. We're going to correct its meaning.
We have like, God, right-wingers have used so many crackheads to just like actively belittle and dismantle any kind of like left-wing populism. And liberals have so gladly allowed that to happen. Liberals have also simultaneously been like, yeah, no, that's great. Like they've complained about Glenn. They've complained about him, right? But they also totally allowed right-wingers, as they did consistently, and as they did with the Black Lives Matter movement as well. Liberals in positions of power have always taken note from the right on how to undermine leftist movements. Historically, this is just how they've always operated. This is why there's the famous adage of, cut a liberal and a fascist bleeds, because they find themselves aligned with right-wingers and fascists time and time again when push comes to shove, when there's economic volatility, economic instability, and they are worried about capital becoming undone. Same shit happened with Bernie Sanders, where you saw liberals lose their minds at the prospect of a Bernie-style figure.
In the mid-2010s, something weird started to happen to the left. Social justice movements started to explode. We'd see Me Too, Black Lives Matter, increasing LGBTQ activism. And this movement starts to grow, and you see it in things like university and corporate HR departments, where they would start to implement diversity and inclusion initiatives.